Good morning. My name is Wyld Will, and welcome to my public access TV channel. G'day.
Yeah, there's smoke over, so I was just thinking there for a sec. Yeah, there was smoke everywhere, and I tried to. Obviously, I diagnosed it as the oil pans. That was it seemed to me the initial and most obvious cause, and would probably be the best solution to undertake a fix of some kind to fix it. So yeah, obviously got back, bought what I needed, and then for the next week or so, the car was just in bits on this guy's driveway, until I got it back together. And it was a messy job, obviously cleaning up oil pans with baked on grease was pretty disgusting. But it seemed to have worked. The fix seemed to have worked until about a week later, when I noticed that the drip was still going. Is that a phone? Yeah, that's alright. So yeah, when I realised that, yeah, I was pretty frustrated, obviously, when I noticed the drip was really still going. And for me personally, I assessed it as I'd just done something wrong. I didn't think that it could be another part. So I ended up going to another friend's where the driveway was actually very flat and level. So I went to that friend's and I actually redid it. What was it? Had I done? Yeah, I ended up redoing it at another friend's, but before that I actually was at a different friend's, where I was living when I did the radiator initially. And it was there that one day I decided to completely. I'd sort of planned it. I had sort of planned it in my head. I'd gone on eBay and I'd bought a pack of 5 rolls of 3mm wide, 3mm wide masking tape, and I think the day after it arrived, I just went down to the car and started masking a design onto it. So I masked some pretty mad looking flames, and they were, when I actually did it, they were actually pretty spot on. I was proud of it, because I don't think when I did the first side, so I did the right hand side of the car, the passenger side, and I just drew it. I just used the masking tape as my pencil, basically, and just drew on the flames with the masking tape. And it was then translating it onto the other side, onto the driver's side, that it was a little bit more difficult, but it was actually spot on. It was actually spot on, and it was all just eyeballed. Everything was just eyeballed. And then I think it was quite late at night once I finished masking off the car, and then I sprayed it the next day. I think I might have actually driven to work with the masking tape design on it, because I was working also at a hotel at the time. Sorry, my nose is a bit itchy. I think I was working at a hotel at the time, and I needed to go to work in the morning, so I think I actually drove with the masking tape all over the front of the car. And then when I got home, I sprayed it. I sprayed jet black flames all the way up the front of the bonnet and down the side of the car, and it looked mad. It looked hectic. I loved it. I loved it. You know, driving through the centre of Canberra, which is it's a very public servant city. Um, you know, and you're driving along at 8 o'clock in the morning on the way to this hotel. And you're public servants. You're pulling up to red lights, and there's public servants driving next to you. And they're like, you know, they pull up next to you, and then they like, look over, and they're like, oh my god, why is there this ancient 4-wheel drive with mad flames up it? So you get a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs, and it was very fun. It was very fun driving around like that. And then I think doing the flames got the ball rolling for me in my head. That's where in my head the project sort of took off. So I did start filming properly. So I filmed a bit of I filmed some of the car when I filmed some of the car with the flames on it whilst I was doing that, and then as soon as I'd done the flames, I just wanted something else to do on it. I needed something else to do on it. So I went through some of the stuff that I bought myself for Christmas. I wasn't really ready to do the suspension lift kit yet. I wasn't ready for that. But what I did wanted to put on was the winch. I forgot to mention that earlier on. I bought a winch as well. So I got a 2-ton winch, and I wanted to put that on the car. But obviously there's no bracket for it on that car. So what I needed was a bull bar. There are options. There are a few options for that vehicle available, but they were just well out of my budget. Yeah, I think the cheapest one was $1,500, and I think there was ones that were like $4,000, and they were custom made, and they were just well out of my budget for what I was willing to. Well, not even what I was willing. It's like what I could physically pay for on that car. So I ended up going on Facebook Marketplace and trawling through it, and I eventually found a guy selling one which had the right width, and it also had the not just the correct width of the actual bar, but the brackets, the actual bull bars. The bull bar center brackets that sit on the chassis were actually spot on, the right measurements for the Grand Vitara chassis. So I went and got that. The guy was actually super decent, very nice actually. A good lad called Trevor. Met quite a few Trevors on my journeys there. So yeah, I picked it up and then took it home. It needed a little bit of modification. I also needed to build brackets to connect the bull bar to the chassis of the car. So I went and bought some scrap steel, some very, very thick scrap steel, and I made 2 brackets from scratch. And I also bought like, I think it was $150 Boss Wyld welder, which did all the welding that was on that car. Got done with that welder. It wasn't the best, but you know, a good workman never blames his tools. I'm not going to call myself a good workman, but I won't blame the welder, because that was the first time I'd used an arc welder. I'd used MIG welders before that, but I'd never used an arc welder. But that was fun. Yeah, so I made the 2 brackets, and then I also made so the bull bar didn't have any side panels to come back to the front of the fender. So there was about a gap. There was about a gap about that big, which, I mean, it's odd because the you'll see worse on the road. You would see far worse on the road, especially if people. Some people put like 5 posters on them, and there's huge gaps on them and stuff like that. But obviously, as a massive newbie, I was trying to follow. I guess in a way, I was trying to follow the strictest regulations of the law. But I was also, kind of being a bit dodgy because I was obviously doing it myself, which I'm not. So yeah, I built side panels for the bull bar, so there was no gap, because that's actually, if you look at I'll see if I can find it. If you look at the regulations for bull bars, there basically can't be any gap from the front of the bull bar to the fender, so it has to be all connected up and smooth, for safety, which is fair enough. So I had to build the brackets and then side panels. And then I also needed to modify the actual side, what are they called? It's called the A bars. I don't know, the L bars. They go from the side of the bull bar up to the middle of the bull bar, and it's like a curved bit of steel. So on the bull bar that was there, it was they were too low, and they were covering the headlights. Was it too low? Yeah, they were too low and they were covering the headlights. So I had to chop them off, and add a new piece of steel in, and weld it all nice to extend them, basically. It came out really nice. It came out really nice, actually. Came out really nice. And then I don't think I did the bracket. Yeah, so I bought, what type of paint did I buy? I bought like a powder coat effect paint, which was actually pretty cool. It was actually very cool paint. I went through about probably 6 or 7 tins of it to cover this bull bar and get like a nice thick layer of paint on it. But yeah, got it sprayed up in a grey colour initially, like a silvery grey powder coat colour, which was actually very nice. And then that's when I built the platform and the bracket for the winch to sit on inside of the bull bar, and got all that wired up. I think that took about a day of me doing that and getting the wiring right. So yeah, before this I'd never done any electronics. I'd never done, apart from the job that I'd been working on, I'd never done any welding. We welded up fences and gates and sillages and cages, doors. What else did we do? Guardrails, security boxes, stuff like that. So it was a very good experience. But I mean, I'd never done anything practical for myself before with it. And then I think I just left it there for a while.
Good morning. My name is Wyld Will, and welcome to my public access TV channel. G'day.